There you are. Okay. So last time we played, we talked about you're really not trying to get away. Your goal is to waste the killer's time. Because most chases are escaped when the killer goes, "It's not worth my time." Okay? Yeah. So you're trying to waste his time enough so he goes, "All right, screw it." Yeah, so at the beginning I'm going to give you a couple of concepts that we're going to work around, and we'll keep coming back to these. I watched Laser and Tofu do some one-on-one training, and Laser, who's one of the best runners in the world, his rule number one is distance is king. Health states are more important than pallets. And you really want to look at pallet usage, and this one's mine. You really want to look at pallet usage measured against how much your teammates are doing gens. Like the more they're doing gens, the easier it is to justify dropping pallets. Because you're going to need them at the end. Oh, we got to move around. Also, you already know this, but these can be destroyed by the killer. But these cannot. So usually taking a window is preferable because you force the killer to go around. Okay. Right. A lot of killers will try and get you to work around different directions, but then if worst comes to worst, they have to do that, which is slower than you doing it. Okay. Pallets, though, are a finite resource, and they're usually stronger when they're up. Yeah, if your teammates are doing gens and you're down to one health state or one hook state, drop everything. Buy them time, because they are much stronger with 4 people in the match than with 3 people in the match. The equation changes drastically as soon as somebody dies. So I brought Trapper because he's an M1 killer, because everything I can teach you about pallets will change according to the killer's power, his anti-loop abilities, and the perks that he can bring. Okay? Trapper is an M1 killer. If you drop a pallet, I have to play around it. Okay. I can push you off a loop, but really I'm just chasing you and hitting things. Okay. Cool? So that's all the foundational stuff we're going to work from. Does that all make sense? Yeah. And we'll come back to all that as it's necessary. But realize, with Nurse, all of this goes out the window. Nurse ignores pallets. Nurse ignores windows. And someone like a Huntress, your counterplay to her is not to drop, is to fake it. Because as soon as you're in animation lock, a good Huntress will avoid getting stunned, back up, and throw a hatchet at you. So that's like my weakest part of the game, is I panic drop against Huntresses and automatically take a hit. So everything we talk about can change depending on how you counterplay any given killer. Okay? Yeah, and Legion will just jump over it and get a hit. Wesker will just jump over and get a hit. So there's 3 different types of pallets. Shack is a type of pallet called a God pallet, and a God pallet is one of the 3 types of pallets. The other 2 are strong pallets and weak pallets. And sometimes you will hear people call them safe and unsafe pallets, and unsafe pallets are also the weak ones. Strong ones and God pallets are safe. And those are defined by how well the killer can play around them. Okay? So, what would you think this one is? It's weak bordering on strong, because if you drop this, we'll go ahead and drop it. I have to go all the way around, and you have plenty of time to react to me. Or I could go the other way, but it's even longer. Find me a pallet that's weaker than that one. I would say you are correct. That's a fairly weak pallet, because for me to go around it on either side is pretty fast. And I can fake, and I can mind game, and you'll get stuck. Okay? Yeah, as Hobbit just pointed out, you could use this pallet or that one in main and chain to this window. But if you try to stay at this pallet, killer's probably going to get you.
Yeah.
If you try to stay at this pallet, killer's going to have to take longer to get to you, which is going to give you time to react and go somewhere else.
Okay.
And Hobbit was also pointing out that window over there.
Yeah.
So from this pallet, if you dropped it on this side, you can vault that. Or if you drop it on this side, you can get a medium here.
Yeah.
But over here, you're going to have a lot more trouble getting away from the killer.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between a weak pallet and a strong pallet. Okay? So Shack is a god pallet. And a god pallet is a pallet that the killer has no option to play around. It completely blocks his path, and he has to break it if he wants to continue going after you.
Yeah.
Find one. Correct. This one is considered a god pallet. Because if I was going to try and catch you another way, I got to go through a window, and you got so much time to go somewhere else.
You can get a lot of distance.
Yeah, cool. So you know the difference between a weak pallet, a strong pallet, and a god pallet. What's this pallet? Oh yeah? The fact that the killer, if we're on opposite sides of the pillar, if you're running from me, and you drop this pallet, I do this. This is an incredibly weak pallet for all intents and purposes. Like, you do not want to get stuck at this one trying to play it, because the killer just does this. I probably wouldn't even bother dropping this one. I mean, you can fake it and try and get the killer to bite on it, but most good killers will just assume you're going to drop it and go here. Yeah, this is not a good one to be able to play because you're going to get stuck. Find another pallet and tell me what it is. Yeah, this is the strong side because it takes me longer to get around, and this is the weak side. So if you're going to play this pallet, you want to force the killer to try and figure out which direction to go. Yeah, and it'll be easier for him to get you over here.
So if I drop it, I'm over here. Am I smartest to run?
Go for it.
This way?
Drop the pallet. I'll see if I can catch you.
Oh, but you're not going to go right there.
You could have, or if you wanted to play that pallet, you could have gotten a loop on it and vaulted back over it. Because I was not. Go ahead, pretend. Yeah, pretend that you went ahead and went around and vault it for me. Okay. Yeah, you can keep a killer at that loop if you can manage his direction. Okay, good. That actually segues us into my next point. Do you know the difference between greeting a pallet and dropping a pallet? Yeah, greeting is continuing to run the loop, and a lot of people will get extra loops out of it by faking like they're going to drop it. And the general wisdom that I hear people profess is get 3 loops out of a pallet before you drop it. Ironically, our natural instinct is there's a killer chasing me with a bladed weapon. I want to put obstacles between me and them.
Of course.
But the reality in this game is that this pallet is stronger while it's still up.
Yeah.
As soon as you drop it, you give me the option whether or not to break it. And as long as it's up, you get to decide which way to play it, and I'm trying to avoid a stun. So there are killers where you'll be standing there, I will try and come around this way, and while I'm doing that, you just move to the other side of the pallet, and then wait there.
Okay.
See, it's also counterintuitive that stillness in Dead by Daylight is incredibly powerful. Like right here, I don't know, you're a little far from it, so I could probably hit you. But I don't know if you're going to stay there and hit me with it, or if you're going to run if I move forward. Yeah. So the option is in your court whether to greet it or to drop it. And then if I move over here to try and get you, you're going to do that. And then I'm going to try and go back because I'm trying to bloodlust. You are absolutely correct. Yeah, you would have dropped. Now, see, that was good. You greeted that when you probably would have dropped it, and I thought I was going to hit you. But did you see how you faked it and I didn't hit you? Yep. Yeah, so that bluff, that fake, is incredibly powerful in letting you greet another loot. Go ahead and heal up. So you want to try and buy that time with the killer while the pallet is still up, because the decisions are all yours while it's still up. You want to try and run this pallet? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Leave it up. I'm going to chase you at this tile until I down you. Okay? And I'll swing my machete when I'm coming after you. Usually when you're starting ones, you will crouch and I will swing, and that signifies that we're going. Hobbit says, important note, don't run into the killer. So, your first move, from here by the pallet, your first move was to go this way. You took the weak side of the pallet. Why? Yep, go ahead and heal up. So you remember when we've identified weak, strong, God? People generally get more upset when you drop God pallets early. Nobody gives a shit when you drop weak pallets early. Or at least less. So for me, once I've taken that hit, I'm dropping that pallet when I think I might get hit again. Because my health state is too important. And my hook state is too important. When you need to drop it, drop it. DbD is a game about adaptability. And if you remember, if I use my pallets early game, I won't have them late game. Yeah, Hobbit threw in filler pallets are less important than your health state. I would argue God pallets are less important than your health state, but I would try not to use them unless I see there's gen progress going on. If nobody's touching gens, then I got to be careful what kind of resources I use. And DbD is a game of fractions of seconds. Like when I play Dredge, I never break the locks off lockers because it only takes like an extra second to get out of that locker if it's locked. But that second means something. So if you're running this side and it takes you 10 seconds to go down, and you're running this side and it takes you 4 seconds to go down, well, that's 6 seconds that you bought your team. How much do you know about bloodlust? Did you know that if you force the killer to break a pallet, he loses all bloodlust?
I did not know that.
Okay, so pallets are often used to break the killer's bloodlust.
Okay.
Because I can bloodlust around this one and eventually catch you because I'll get faster every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But if you run me to this one and then you drop it,
Okay.
I have to break it to continue chasing you,
Okay.
and the chase restarts. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so you're talking about evaluating strength and weakness while in chase, and I'm repeating it just in case the audio.
Like trying to actually make purposeful decisions.
Yeah.
Well, in chase is not easy because I'm just focused on, oh my god, I'm gonna get killed.
Right. Now there's two things that are going to play into that. One of them is map knowledge, and the more you experience any given map, you're going to know, oh, there's this at this point, and there's this at this point. Like if you're on Toba landing, the basic level of the spaceship has a circle, has an oval, and there's a pallet at one end of it. You know that's there. And so if you run to loops that you've got experience with, you're already going to know. The other one is anytime you pick up something new, the more you practice it, the faster you're going to get at it. So it makes sense that right now you're going, oh, I'm panicking running from the killer. But as you do it, it's going to click. You're going to go, oh, I need to look at which side's oh, I'm down. And then the next time you go, oh, I need to look at which side's the strong side. Oh, I'm down. And it's going to get better, yeah, incrementally as you practice it. So why'd I bring you here?
Nobody likes this map.
Why does nobody like this map?
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't actually now that you say that.
Okay, the game is also known as Pallet Town.
Okay.
There are literally 30 pallets on this map. There are more pallets on this map than almost any other map. Killers hate it because they have to chew, and so many of those pallets are strong or god pallets. And they have to chew through all of them to catch you.
So there's a lot of strongness if you do them right.
Yep. Some people just say run to yellow. If you're running windows of opportunity, just run to yellow.
Yeah.
Okay?
There's a lot of yellow on this map.
Yep. So if you ever watch a comp match, those guys drop pallets like they're popcorn, like you just eat them. But that's because they know their other three teammates are making gen progress. Okay, so I brought you here because you can drop anything you want, anytime you want. Okay? And I'm going to chase you till I down you.
Okay.
And then I'll pick you up and we'll go, all right, what went wrong and what went right? Make sense? Nice greed. Oh yeah, when you get hit, you get a speed burst. Oh, I broke that by instinct. You want to use that speed burst to make distance, because remember, distance is king. So what could you have done?
I took a long way around, but I have not.
I don't, because remember, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna go down. Eventually, the killer's gonna catch you. There aren't a lot of people that doesn't happen with. This is not a particularly strong loop. There's a lot of, yeah. So. Yeah, you can fake the pallet. You can drop the pallet. This pallet, I'm going to try to play around. But you can also chain it to the drop down over there or the other pallet over there. So your instinct to greed is fine, especially at that one where you hadn't been hit yet. But the instinct to greed over here, you're playing a not so strong loop and putting yourself at extreme risk, because health is more important than this pallet. Good call. So you bluffed dropping the pallet by slowing down next to it, and I didn't bite on the bluff. That's perfectly valid. There's nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of killers, when you bluff that slowdown at the pallet,
Yeah.
they will stop. Or some of them would reroute around these boxes. And some of them would charge right through. No, go ahead and heal up. Yeah. Yeah, when you're at this point right here, that was a really good fake. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get stunned. I was actually surprised you didn't drop it. Yeah. So we're literally here so you can drop anything you want. Feel free to drop everything.
Okay.
You don't have to play them, you're buying time. See how long you can stay on your feet. Yeah, I was listening to your feet, so I had kind of an idea which direction you went. You won't hear that if you're listening to music. Gotcha. Yeah, getting caught on stuff is very normal too. Now, strangely, a lot of times when you get hit, you don't want to drop that pallet immediately. Because dropping the pallet costs you your speed burst. It's a reflex that makes a lot of sense, but when you get hit, you get that speed burst. Yeah. And that's kind of the learning curve of DbD, is you have to... The game does not explain to you what you need to think about at all.
Yeah.
Nice, I almost hit you. You gotta wait to see what I do. I think you assumed that I was gonna break it, and because I didn't, I caught you. Hobbits is a good drop. Both of those are good drops. Ooh. Ooh. I see, I'm not very good at hugging loops tight. Good double back. So Hobbit pointed out, it's telling me to kill you. I don't want to kill you. Hobbit pointed out that you had incredibly safe pallets to play that you ran away from. And it's a choice. But if you play the incredibly safe ones, you're going to stay on your feet longer. I know that you're averse to dropping the incredibly safe ones. But remember, in this setting, you can drop anything you want. Because we're trying to get you in the habit of managing those resources. You got time. Yeah. But you need them. Right. Losing your health states is not helping your teammates either. Hobbit points out you don't even have to throw them, even if you just want to play them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I've gravitated back into killer as I've gotten more and more frustrated with other survivors because they don't manage their resources the same way I do. Like the most important resource in this game is time. And if my solo queue teammates are doing nothing and hiding in lockers and skulking around the edge of the map, I'm like, we already lost. Game is over. Hello, Tarper. Nice mask. It's shiny. Ready to play some hide and seek? Alright. Down to 10. Oh, nice double back. So Hobbit made a note. Hobbit made a note that I need to explain what pre-dropping is once we're done. Yep. See how I'm stopping and waiting to see what you're going to do? Yep, most of my decisions are based on making distance from you. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, no I didn't. Woo! I thought I was in a dead end. I also know you're following my trail rather than trying to anticipate where I'm going. Because a killer will try and project where you're going so that they can cut you off. Oh! Oh! That was close. That was close. Killers hate this loop because of this window. See how I'm not committing to a direction unless I know you're going the other way? Oh yeah. And it chains, that freezer room always chains to this workshop room. See how I'm usually trying to play the long side? You can do that too. Trust me, ask Peter how much I used to suck. Woo, I think you auto-locked onto the pig. So that window blocked because I vaulted it 3 times. So, Hobbit wanted me to explain pre-dropping. I haven't really tried to get any stuns on you with any of the pallets. I'm just trying to block your path so that you have a much longer distance to cross to get to me. I'm not waiting until you've almost hit me. I'm making choices that have to do with how much distance can I make. I know I reset your bloodlust. Oop. I expected you to come around this side of the pallet, so I looked back the wrong way. And I let you catch up to me. So, did that chase make sense to you? Did you see the choices I made? And a lot of that is because I'm pre-dropping the pallets. Because you are waiting to use a pallet until you need it to save you. And I'm dropping them earlier because I'm trying to waste your time. Hobbit says, I pre-drop against Michael and Ghosty too, especially if they're undetectable. Not knowing where they are, I want a barrier between them and me. And that's very true. A lot of killers, if you camp a pallet, a lot of more experienced killers swing through the pallet, and the only way to do it is to pre-drop, because you know they're trying to do that. Yeah. So on this chase, I want you to pre-drop. This, if you have the distance, that drop down, that's a great tool on this map. So how do you get out of it? Could have vaulted that. That's a corner. So, can I give you a note on that chase? So you ran through this room, and you had plenty of distance on me. I would not have gotten a hit on you had you come up here and used the drop down, which is always going to slow me down because you're making me vault a window. Instead, you ran to this loop, which is playable for me. Yeah, it's playable for me. And then when you took me around this side, instead of catching the fast vault here, you continued to loop, and then you vaulted back into the place where you couldn't get out. So let me ask you a question from the killer perspective, and this is why playing killer helps you. Which side do I want to break this pallet on? Okay, if I break this pallet on this side, it means you're on the other side of it. And it means you have the entire map behind you to run into. Correct. I want to zone you into the place where you have no options. Because from here, you're either going to run that way, or you're going to run that way. Yeah. So a killer is usually going to chase you around this loop until they can get you zoned in this position. So if I was chasing you around here, knowing that, you want to vault out of this to force me to break it on this side. Make sense? Yeah, the game I like is this combination of hide and seek. Ooh, I got caught. I had you too. I had you. Yeah. Killers have no stagger. Window is a good choice. Should have pre-dropped that. No, this is the freezer. I should say you could have pre-dropped that. That's a good choice. So I just got Bloodlust and you just took it away from me. 15 seconds of chase per level. Nice drop. Doesn't matter. The problem there was that you come back for a second. The problem you had was that you stopped here, realized you had basement, and went, oh shit, I don't want to be here. You could have gone here. Yeah. So let's pretend that you realize that. Go left and drop that pallet. Yeah, that's a god pallet. I'm gonna break it. You've had a few really good pre-drops on this chase, by the way. I moonwalked. I knew what you were gonna do. That was me guessing you wanted to play this loop. And so I moonwalked back in and swung into the pallet. You ever seen The Shining?
Yeah.
So at the end of The Shining, Danny makes footprints in the snow, and then to confuse his father, he goes back and erases his footprints. So managing your scratch marks is kind of like that, because you can throw off a killer as to where you went by judiciously stopping running.
Okay.
And this isn't pallet related, but that's why I'm having you switch to fixated, because fixated lets you see your own scratch marks. And if you feel like stopping running, if there's a chance to stop running and not leave scratch marks, it might help to see when you are and when you aren't.
Okay.
Generally, when you're in chase, doesn't help. But managing your scratch marks can be very helpful. I hear feet. Yep, cost yourself your speed boost. Ooh! Whiffing. Good window. Sorry. Hobbit says, where I was going with scratch marks as they relate to pallets. Throw a god pallet, make distance to break line of sight, and then walk to lose your scratch marks. It's a very good strategy. It works really well. By the way, that was a good attempt to lose your scratch marks on the last one. Problem was I could see you.
Okay.
Because once I came into the area where your scratch marks stopped, I could see you further on and where you were trying to lose me. Otherwise, it would have worked. I did not know you were there until you ran. I lost you until you vaulted. I was trying to figure out where you were. Strong pallet, good drop. Probably would have tried to play the office again. You should have. I whiffed that. I don't know why I whiffed that one. Yeah, the people that run don't mind being chased.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
I heard your feet. I knew you were there somewhere. I just thought you were in the room. Remember, feel free to drop everything. That's why we're here. Very nice. That's a god pallet. Well, it's very strong bordering on god pallet. Most killers are gonna break that. Good window. Oh, nice. That was a good decision. I thought you were going to vault back over and you didn't.
I do have to find, stop myself in windows sometimes where I want to go to other jobs.
There you are. Yeah, it's called a panic drop. Yeah, it's called a panic drop, and it takes some work to get past it. Yep. You have to fight that instinct. I still do it sometimes. I'm like, gotta hit, I got hit, I gotta drop it. So my first hit on you is because I anticipated where you went. And my second hit, we're playing an okay loop. But rather than... Yeah, but you panicked on it. Because you could have played it from both sides, but instead you ran out and chained it to the window and then went around, and I was on the verge of bloodlusting. And I caught up with you. Because remember, the killer is faster than the survivors. When you load into a map, you have a sense of how many pallets are on that map. If you're on the game, drop everything. If you're on Larry's, you might have to make a judgment call. This is a map that has very few pallets. Yeah, the game has more than 30. Larry's has 15 to 20. Yeah. So these are the times that your teammates are going to go, oh shit, I needed that. Okay. So then you have to use different strategies. You have to use the fakes. You have to use the strong side, because more often the decision is going to be, I need to save that pallet. Like if you come over to Gallows, I'll meet you at Gallows. There you are.
Oh, I thought it was
So on this map, this pallet is considered fairly strong. It's got a weak side to it, but it's got a strong side to it, and the strong side chains to shack.
okay.
And there's usually 2 or 3 pallets in the back 40. There's one over here. There's one over here. There's usually one over here that are fairly playable.
Okay.
There's usually a weak one somewhere on this street.
And this is weak because you can literally...
Yeah, if you wanna loop me on this loop, I'm gonna catch you fairly fast.
Yeah.
And then there's always one in front of main right here. It's got some reasonable strength to it because the side's solid. And then of course nobody wants to run main on this map, but it doesn't have a pallet. There's sometimes a pallet here.
Okay.
There's always a pallet back here.
Okay.
There's a weak pallet over here all the time. See how there's very few god pallets on this map though? Really, of all the pallets I've shown you, the only one that's strong is Shack.
Yeah, definitely.
They all have strong sides, playable sides, but you have to manage them carefully because there's very few of them and they aren't great.
Okay. I see you.
So why did you run back into me if you knew where I was? Okay. You gotta fight that instinct. Okay, so you ran into me twice. That one you're going to want to work on, because I'm not sure why you ran out of Shack and into me rather than playing the pallet and forcing me to come through it.
Don't know.
That one I'm not going to be able to help you with. Why do you run into the killer and let yourself get hit? I don't know. Okay, you might want to think about that one.
This all makes sense. Now, what I have to do is put it into practice.
Yep.
Because this all makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Awesome. There is a point in receiving information where your brain goes, I've got enough and I need to compile what I've got. So if you want to run another one, that's cool. If you want to try one in a live server where we're going to get eaten by the ghoul, that's cool. If you want to call it a day, that's cool. You tell me what you need.
I wouldn't be opposed to trying like a live game.
Okay.